Today, my friends, I want to do something a bit different and talk about how to get the best bodyguards in the classic Dynasty Warriors games, this being 3 Extreme Legends and 4. In those games you can get up to 8 bodyguards and you can level them up in certain ways and it gains certain bonuses, and it's quite a good system. It's what everybody misses. You have the ability to customise their names and the name of the unit as well. Both games feature the same thing. It's up to 8 bodyguards and 4 units of them each. So we'll talk about Dynasty Warriors 3 Extreme Legends first. There will be a timestamp for Dynasty Warriors 4 if you're just interested in that. So with 3 Extreme Legends, bodyguards gain levels and points based on your performance in the stage. With that in mind, you want to farm as many points in the lowest amount of time possible. There are 2 decent stages for this. One is actually for gaining life and Musou for your playable characters, which is what my farming method was, and the other one's a bit more points orientated and takes a bit longer. So, before we get started, I want to just mention that you can have the ability to custom level your bodyguards, which is how you get the best ones in my opinion, certainly for playing on very hard, where you just need your bodyguards to be tanks there and take some of the aggro away from you. Another thing to note is bodyguards actually regain health in this game based on health pickups you pick up, so if they're damaged, try and pick up health even if you're on full health. It keeps them alive and it makes your life a lot easier. So with that in mind, jump into one of the following stages, and preferably on normal or lower because it makes it a bit easier. You don't want your bodyguards dying because I think it's halved for every one that dies. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, the 2 stages you want are both Extreme Legends stages because this is where the system got overhauled. The stages are the Battle of Runan for Yellow Turbans because it features 8 playable officers which are worth a shed load of points. Also has a lot more just generic officers to defeat and a load of troops to defeat. So what you want to do is obviously just clear out the whole stage, and that nets you a whole load of points. The other decent stage is the Mountain Bandit campaign because it's so short. There are 5 officers to defeat. They all look like generics. Well, one of them is actually a generic officer who always appears in the same space. The other 4 are just like the guard captain looking guys. But you want this stage because it has a Musou wine and a life pickup, a dim sum as it were. As soon as you start, go behind you, there's a dim sum there. Go forward to the left and there'll be an officer there, kill him. Go forward a bit more, there's another one there. On your journey between the second one and third one, who is to your right by now, there's a pot on your slight left, and that contains a Musou wine, so that's a decent way of gaining those 2. And because the stage is so short, you get a load of points for it. If you can get it done under about 2 minutes, I think, you get a bonus. So with that in mind, every time your bodyguards level up in this game, you can distribute a point. Now I think it's only 20 points. I'm not actually looking at the footage, so I'm just doing some of this from memory and then I'll re-record it later. So the first one you want to do is actually level up defense. Defense is probably the most vital points you can distribute for bodyguards. I would suggest doing at least 2 or 3 points into defense first, so when they're level 4 you should be then going for rank. So levels 2, 3 and 4 defense, level 5 rank, level 6 defense. Just keep alternating between defense and rank once you're at this point. And once rank, or I think it's actually might be called title, maxes out, it will be in red. Then just focus solely on defense, and once that's maxed out, go for health. You can level them up however you want, but in my opinion you really want defense first. You will max out defense regardless. It doesn't actually reach the full end bit. I don't know why that is. So that is how you get the best bodyguards in 3 Extreme Legends. Now, here is the difficult bit. Dynasty Warriors 4. So I'll just show the general strategy in the background, much like I did with Dynasty Warriors 3, and then I'll explain it in detail because it is a bit confusing. In Dynasty Warriors 4, bodyguards have 2 point systems, total points which accumulate throughout their existence whenever you complete a stage. When this reaches 500 points, 1000 points, 1500 points, 2000 points, 3,000 points and 4,000 points, you get to bring an extra bodyguard. I didn't mention this for the 3 Extreme Legends thing because it's not actually that important how you level them up. So as well as extra members, so for every 1,500 points as well, the bodyguards will change rank. For males, this affects their appearance. They'll eventually end up like the hero generics if you just got the normal male bodyguards. I think if it's Nanman, they do actually turn into a Nanman generic. I've never actually seen that though. For female bodyguards, either the Nanman or just normal female bodyguards, this doesn't provide any bonus at all. It doesn't change their appearance. But also at 1,000 points, 2,000 points and 3,000 points, you gain 3 extra weapons. This is actually quite important. So the weapons are spear, pike and crossbow in that order. Each of the weapons, when taken into battle, will provide the bodyguards with different stats each time they level up carrying one. So they're on screen now. As you can see, it's quite a bit of a difference. So if you strictly want more defense, make sure they use the bow, or just make them use it in general because it provides the most, but good luck defeating anything with that one. So linking into this is titles. So the best ones in the game are linked to how you level up your bodyguards when they reach level 20. The unique titles are, and they have some elements attached to them. So you have Stalwarts, which is the most common. Most people probably had this if they got their bodyguards to reach level 20. This has no element. Phoenixes, which have maximum health and have ice damage. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. So Tigers have maximum attack and have blast damage. Dragons have a maximum stat total between 186 and 189. Has Vorpal damage, so it's like instant death. Experts have maximum Musou and have lightning attack. And finally, Masters with maximum HP and fire attacks. So to get these, you can actually just use 2 weapons to get really rubbishy versions of those titles. But here we want the best, as surprisingly, bodyguards are actually quite useful on the maximum difficulty. So anyway, unlike Dynasty Warriors 3, bodyguards have to actually get the KOs themselves to level up, and you can only level up once per battle. So this does actually get a bit tiring. You're going to have to do 19 battles to get the best ones. So with this in mind, each KO is worth 10 points. Bringing a bodyguard into battle is worth 30 points, and having them alive at the end of the battle is 40 points. So 70 in total. Leveling them up is done in increments of 50 points. To get to level 2 or 3 is about 300 points. To level 4 or 5 is around 350 points. Level 6 or 7 is 400 points. I think you get the message now. I'm going to do the maths for you because it will be on screen now how many kills they need for each level. When you get to a certain level, you will have a certain amount of bodyguards to bring to the stage, so you don't have to do this all the time. So the general strategy to level up is, I always pick the first stage in the game, Yellow Turban Menace, on beginner. One thing you can do is bring the bodyguard manual. When bodyguards are very low level, they are very passive, which is incredibly annoying. But one thing you can do to prevent them from actually getting hit is just stay on Shadowrunner, the horse I pick for every single stage, and then just spam Taunt on top of it. The 2 characters you don't want to do this with are Lubu and Zhang Fei, because their Taunt actually damages enemies. So pick any character except for those 2. Go to either of these 2 spots on the map. They'll be where a generic officer is. I prefer to take the generic officer out and then just sit there and wait for your bodyguards to defeat them. So if you want to get each of the titles, you have to level them up in certain ways. It is a bit confusing because you only get 2 weapons at the start. You might as well try and use the sword as much as you can, because it's very painful using the bow. Yes, this is the very confusing bit. Leveling up requires you to carry each of the weapons, like I said earlier. I'll put all the combinations for what I think are the best ones for each of the categories that I mentioned previously. So for this one, we're going for experts. So you need to level them up 3 times using the sword, 3 times using the bow, and 13 times using the spear. Now, it is actually a good idea to just get a notepad on your computer and mention which ones you've used, because you don't want to level them up incorrectly. You can't really go back unless you're using an emulator and then use a save state or whatever. Yes, that is the way you do it. Going to these 2 areas, spamming taunts, getting your bodyguards have the kills. When you will realise once you reach a certain point, if you can bring enough bodyguards into a battle, you can literally just finish the stage and they'll level up, which is quite nice. It's quite hard to notice how many kills each of the bodyguards will get. Make an interim save if you have to, and then when you get to the result screens, if they haven't leveled up, reload the save, let them get a few more kills, defeat the final boss, and then Bob's your uncle. And there you go. I've done this several times. I usually go for dragon type bodyguards because they have the Vorpal damage. You don't actually really see it that much. It does happen, but I can't really get any good footage of it, but it does happen. I mean, most of this information is actually taken from a GameSpot guide from like 2004, so yes, I'm inclined to believe this is true. So yes, there we go, my friends. You will see most of the stats are very, very similar, but their titles do change. On some of them as well, with the, I think it's dragons, if you can actually get the Phoenix title first, but then when they level up again it will change, so don't worry there. I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. If there's any problems, do ask me in the comments. I usually check them, but sometimes don't respond, but I will respond to any decent comments about this guide. And thank you very much, and I will see you in another video sometime soon. Bye bye.